एष देवो विश्वकर्मा महात्मा सदा जनानां हृदये सन्निविष्टः। शांति पाठ। ओम सहना भवतु।
ओम सहना भवतु।
सहनौ भुनक्तु।
सहनौ भुनक्तु।
सह वीर्यं करवावहै।
सह वीर्यं करवावहै।
तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु।
तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु।
मा विद्विषावहै।
मा विद्विषावहै।
ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः।
ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः।
ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः।
ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः।
अरण्योर्निहितो जातवेदाः।
अरण्योर्निहितो जातवेदाः।
गर्भ इव सुभृतो गर्भिणीभिः।
गर्भ इव सुभृतो गर्भिणीभिः।
दिवे दिव ईड्यो जागृवद्भिः।
दिवे दिव ईड्यो जागृवद्भिः।
हविष्मद्भिर्मनुष्येभिरग्निः।
हविष्मद्भिर्मनुष्येभिरग्निः।
अरण्योर्निहितो जातवेदाः।
अरण्योर्निहितो जातवेदाः।
गर्भ इव सुभृतो गर्भिणीभिः।
गर्भ इव सुभृतो गर्भिणीभिः।
दिवे दिव ईड्यो जागृवद्भिः।
दिवे दिव ईड्यो जागृवद्भिः।
हविष्मद्भिर्मनुष्येभिरग्निः।
हविष्मद्भिर्मनुष्येभिरग्निः।
एतद्वै तत्।
एतद्वै तत्।
See, as we said, for the different people, those who are worshipping the Lord as the Ishvara, those who are worshipping the Devi as the Paraprakriti, the Shakti, those who are doing the Homam, everybody's difficulties are taken into consideration to relieve them of their constricted concepts. Now, this Agnihi, the fire, is used in Yaga, Homakunda. But repeatedly the Upanishads say that consider that Agni is not in the Homakunda, Agni in the Homakunda is not the real Agni, but that is the I in us is the real Agni. Even Bhagavad Gita says that Jnana Agni sarvakarmani bhasmasat kurute tatha. Like the fire destroying all the dross. Jnana Agni, the knowledge fire, the fire of knowledge, destroys all the karmas. Karmas means what? We say avidya kama karma. The other day I explained that we use the word karma when it is desire motivated. If it is not desire motivated for a jnani or for the whole karma going on in the universe, the huge action, we don't call it karma because it is not desire motivated. It is called kriya. Why? Because when it is desire motivated, there is a fruit inside. What is that? By doing the karma, I will become happy. Now you must have understood this. Every day I am repeating so many times. By doing this, I will become happy. That becomes the phala. So we get attached to that phala, and if I don't become happy, then we undergo shoka, grief. And if we get success, then we become elated. This is the problem. This is the phala we are suffering from. If it is not a karma, then this internal phala will not be there. You should be able to discriminate very well. Externally, causality will always be there. If an ashram is made, the building will stand as long it has to stand. Functions will go on. These are all external. But when the ashram is made, if it is made with a desire that I will have an ashram and where this will happen, that becomes the internal phala. A saint or a knower should not have that internal phala. I am making the ashram because it is a need of the society. It is a need of the people. Nobody makes an ashram. It comes up around the saint when people start coming. Then they need a place to stay. They need a place to host the lectures. Everything is a need there. Otherwise, the propagation will not take place. And it takes its own course. Sometimes it becomes very big. Sometimes it remains small. It doesn't matter at all. But the knower should not have the phala in his mind that I have a big ashram or I have a small ashram or I will make 100 ashrams or anything of that sort. That I am doing something and by making that I will become happy. This is the phala. So, when we say jnanagni sarva karmani bhasmasat kurute, it means that this phala orientation, by knowledge, this phala will go. So it will no more be the karma for him. Outside it will follow the causality. As the sun is going running towards something, the earth is going around the sun, the moon is going around the earth. As the plants are growing, the rains are coming, the seasons are following, the sun is getting up every day, setting every day. It's a huge karma kanda going on. But there is no desire anywhere at all. That is why it functions so well in harmony. Had there been desire, then nothing would have sustained. Everything would have collapsed. So it is like that. External causality will always be there in the object world. But it is the internal causality and internal looking for some bhogecha. That is the trouble we have to spot and we have to eliminate. So here this Agni, they have used cleverly in both the cases, that as the Agni is hidden in the Yajna Arani. Arani means the Yajna Kashtam, the two firewood, the two wood with which we light the fire in the Yajna Homakunda. Aranyor nihito, aranyoho nihitaha. Two arani, so they have used dvivachanam. Aranyor nihitaha. Jata Vedaha. Jata Vedaha means Agni. Actually, Jata Vedaha means one who knows everything, Sarvajna. Now, if you consider the fire, the material fire as this Agni, then it is not so. Fire doesn't know everything. So that they have used the word Jata Veda to give a hint that you should not consider it as just the physical Agni. It is the Agni inside, our real consciousness. So, which is the Sarvajna, that they have repeatedly said, that we don't know that it is a Sarvajna, that is different. Aranyor nihito jata vedaha garbhaiva subhrito garbhini bhihi. As a pregnant woman is always careful about the fetus inside, and whatever she is doing, eating, working, etc., she is always careful about the protection of the fetus inside so that the fetus grow properly and it is delivered in the proper time. Just like that, the Agni in the Arani for the Yajnakartas and Agni in our heart, both have to be preserved and taken care of. We have to be aware throughout the day, through every work about that, so that it is preserved well and it grows well. How do we take care of the Agni inside? By our sadhana. We should always be aware that the soul we are talking about, the consciousness which is all pervading, that is right within our heart. We have to be aware of that. By awareness, we will incorporate that vastness in all our actions, in all our talks, in all our thoughts, in all our emotions. So the mind, the emotional being, the intelligential being, everything will undergo a purification and expansion by that. So we have to be always, this is what I explained yesterday as dhyana mukhinata. Whenever we are meditating, the goal is to reach this real identity. That should not be missed throughout the day in any moment at all, not only in our actions, in our mind also. We have to be watchful about the mind, the thoughts going on. Is it aware of that final goal which we try to attain in meditation? As long as this dhyana mukhinata is not there, you will not be able to meditate. When you sit for meditation, all the thoughts throughout the day you have nurtured, they will come and they will hinder your meditation. Not only that, that is the time you are sitting without any work. So that is a free time for all of them to invade you and completely overwhelm you. Is it not? Throughout the day you have invited them deliberately. Now if you say, no, go away, will they listen to that? They will say, no, now you are free, we will come, we will occupy you fully. और भी जोर से आएंगे. यही तो होता है, लोग मेडिटेशन में बैठ के लड़के क्लांत हो जाते हैं, उठ के फिर बोलते हैं कि कुछ नहीं होता है स्वामी जी, मन इधर उधर भागते रहता है और उसके साथ लड़ते रहते हैं, तो बाद में बंद कर देते हैं मेडिटेशन. It will not happen if throughout the day we do not have the dhyana mukhinata. The goal of the meditation remains like a cynosure in our mind, that headlight in our mind behind everything. Not only in actions, in our thoughts also. Are we preserving such thoughts? Because those thoughts are corrupting my mind, corrupting my intelligence, everything. More than the actions. Action, how many you are taking throughout the day? Maybe you have quarreled with somebody only twice a day. Sangeeta might have quarreled 3 times a day or 5 times a day. Everybody is quarreling, not only you. But that is only twice or thrice a day. But throughout, in your mind, what are you hosting throughout the day? It is all jhagda or blaming on this or that or selfishness. Kya milega, kya nahi milega. So throughout the day, we are polluting our mind, polluting our intelligence. This is where the trouble is. So they are saying that like the pregnant woman, the way her attention is there on the fetus, like those who are doing the yajna in the homakunda, they have to preserve the aranis so that they remain dry. By inadvertence, by inattention, they should not pour water on the arani. Then they will not get the fire next day. They have to preserve it properly. Attention has to be there. वैसे ही हम लोगों का तो अटेंशन नहीं रहते हैं ना, हमेशा हम पानी डाल देते हैं उसमें, फायर तो नहीं, इसीलिए फायर ब्लेज नहीं करता है. पानी डालना क्या है, कुछ गॉसिप हुआ बस छोड़ दिए, पानी आ गया, भिंगा दिया, उस दिन मेडिटेशन नहीं होगा. So this is how beautifully they have said, dive idya, that what we are calling the Agni or the self inside. Every day it is being worshipped. Dive means every day, day after day it is being worshipped by all the people, those who are doing homa or those who are aware of the presence of the self in our heart, or those who are worshipping in the fire. They are all worshipping that same Atma, which is the ruler of the entire universe, who is there everywhere. Etad vaitat. Nachiketa, this is the Atma you have been talking about. Throughout you will find in this chapter, etad vaitat, etad vaitat. Why are they repeating? Whenever the Shastras repeat anything, we should be careful. It means something. They are emphasizing that. What is our trouble? We always think ourselves to be small, limited by the body-mind complex, always getting tarnished by the sukha, dukkha, blamefulness, this, that and all. It is always getting tainted, affected. So we cannot conceive of, however much we may tell, that is the Atma, universal Brahman. We will not be able to conceive. So repeatedly he is reminding us that this Atma which you consider to be small, doing this, doing that Atma is the universal self or Paramatma or Brahman. Repeatedly, etad vaitat, that itself is this. There is no difference at all. To emphasize that. Otherwise we will think repeatedly about the Dehantaragami Atma, that Atma comes out of this body, goes there, what will happen after I die? Even great Vedantins we have met, when the wife dies, he asks Swamiji that whether in next life also she will be my wife, who is a fond Vedantin. But when the wife dies, he asks that whether in next life also the wife will be the same lady will be my wife. What does it mean? Whatever Vedanta we study, we are not able to get over that. We want the continuity of the bodily life in this earth, on this earth, with the same comforts we had, whether we will have the same or even more comfort in the next life. So he is repeatedly saying that no, this Atma is not limited by the body-mind complex at all. It is the universal Atma. And if you can somehow realize this, then you will no longer need all these small things which you are thinking that I will be deprived of this, I want that, because you will become universal. So repeatedly he will say, etad vaitad. This itself is that the Atma is the Brahman. In Viveka Chudamani, shloka is there, 439 of Viveka Chudamani. Na pratyak brahmanor bhedam kadapi brahma sargayoho prajnaya yo vijanati sa jivan mukta lakshanaha. Na pratyak brahmanor bhedam kadapi brahma sargayoho prajnaya yo vijanati sa jivan mukta lakshanaha. He is having the jivan mukti lakshanas, the person. Saha jivan mukta lakshana. He is a jivan mukta. Who? Na pratyak brahmanor bhedam. Who does not differentiate between the pratyagatma and the Brahman. Pratyagatma means when we consider it to be limited by the body, so it is within the body. I am looking for the Atma within the body. I consider the Atma to be encapsulated by my body-mind personality. That is the pratyagatma. So he does not differentiate. There is no bheda between the pratyagatma and the Brahman, which is the substratum of the entire universe, on which the universe is appearing to be. Kadapi Brahma sargayoho. And never he differentiates between the Brahman and this Srishti. Because the whole Srishti is an appearance in the Brahman. He finds Brahman everywhere. He doesn't find any bheda anywhere. Although his Indriyas will see all the Vedas, his mind will interact with the Vedas, everything it will be done. But in reality, at the substratum level, at the essential level, he does not find anything different from the Brahman at all. Our difficulty is we keep spirituality or religious practices different from our secular practices. So if we half an hour or 1 hour, if at all, we practice something, that is lost throughout the day. Because throughout the day, our activities, we are not making them spiritual. We are not divinizing them. We are not making them an worship. We are not making them an offering to the Lord. Actually, whatever we are doing is an offering to the universal yajna of the Lord. But we don't think in that manner. So always we are differentiating between the worldly actions, world, and something called God or spirituality or the self. This difference, this bheda buddhi is the problem. So repeatedly they are striking at this point that this bheda buddhi has to go. And how will it go? Only by divinizing your every moment of life. Not only divinizing all the actions, divinizing your thoughts, divinizing your emotions. Everywhere the change has to come. If you do not divinize your emotion and thought, how can you divinize your action? It is not possible. Whole divinization takes place within, not outside. Action outside, it is the same thing for everybody. The change is only inward, in the inside. So, na pratyak brahmanor bhedam kadapi brahma sargayoho. There is no difference between the pratyagatma and the Brahman, and he never differentiates between Brahman and the Srishti, whatever the world is. Prajnaya yo vijanati. This will not be known by the eyes or the ears or anything. Prajna. By the prajna, one who knows. He is called a jivan mukta lakshana. So this bheda drishti, the Upanishads are trying repeatedly to remove this bheda buddhi. It is called bheda buddhi, differential notion. Abheda darshanam jnanam. Now let us go to the next verse. Yataschodeti suryaha
यदश्चोदेति सूर्यः
Astam yatra cha gacchati.
Astam yatra cha gacchati.
See, when you read without the break, then Suryostam you can read. But when we are breaking, the Sandhi has to be broken there. Yataschodeti Suryaha
Yataschodeti suryaha
Astam yatra cha gacchati
astam yatra cha gacchati
Tam deva sarve arpitaha
tam devas sarve arpitaha
Tadunatyeti kaschana
tadunatyeti kaschana
etadvai tat.
etadvai tat.
He says yataha cha udeti suryaha, from where the sun rises. From where the sun rises. Astam yatra cha gacchati, and where it sets. It is sun, it is our awareness also. Suppose we are waking up to the world and we are again going to the sleep. So, where from the world has awakened in our mind and where the world is again getting dissolved in our mind, inside, that is our consciousness. Here also, it is the substratum of the entire universe, where from the Surya is coming and Surya is setting also. Tam devaha sarve arpitaha. In that, all the devas mean you can say all the deities or all the natural powers, or the devas are actually indriyas also. Our powers with which we are seeing the world, they are 5 devas, the 5 indriyas. So all the sense perceptions are also coming from there only, that we have already studied. Sabda, sparsha, rupara, sagandha, etc. we have already studied. So they are all coming from there and they are all sitting there also. Sarve devaha arpitaha. Arpita means surrendered. Arpitaha can mean another thing, that suppose you have a hub and on which the spokes are fitted. So although the spokes, the circumference is supported by the spokes, by the indriyas, by all the devas, by the 5 sense organs, 5 spokes, the whole outer world is supported. Is it not so? Our external world is made of these 5 senses alone. So these 5 are the spokes which is supporting the external world. But where are these 5 spokes supported? In the hub. So that is the support of everything, the consciousness, where they are supported. So either it is surrendered or you can think of the wheel also, both way. Sarve devaha arpitaha tadunatyeti kaschana. There is nothing beyond this. Nothing can surpass this Atma or the consciousness or Brahman. Etad vaitad. This is the Atma Nachiketa you have spoken of. That Atma. His question was, what happens to the Atma after death? So he is repeatedly saying that it is not affected by anything happening to the body-mind complex at all. Next verse. Yadeveha tadamutra
Yadeveha tadamutra
Yadamutra tadanmiha
Yadamutra tadanniha
Mrityo samrityumapnoti
Mrityo samrityumapnoti
Yaihananeva pashyati
Yaihananeva pashyati
Yadeveha yadamutra
Yadeveha tadamutra
Yadamutra tadanmiha
Yadamutra tadanniha
Mrityo samrityumapnoti
Mrityo samrityumapnoti
Yaihananeva pashyati
Yahihananeva pashyati
Yat eva iha tat amutra Yat amutra tat anu iha. See, this amutra, iha, vairagya is called iha amutra phala bhoga viraga. That means vairagya means we don't want or expect or look for or desire for anything in this world, means iha. Iha means this world. Or amutra means in the other world. Other world means after the body has fallen. Nachiketa's question was what happens after the body has fallen. So now he is slowly coming to the proper statement of it. That there is no difference for the Atma whether it is in this world or the other world. Whatever the Atma is in this world, that Atma remains the same when the body falls. That is what he is saying by Tadamutra. As if Amutra is there, some other world is there. If at all other world is there also, the Atma does not go any change. Because Atma is never touched by the world or the other world or anything. Anything changeful. All the Devalokas, Brahmaloka, everything is changeful. Atma never gets affected or touched by anything changeful. It is the revealer of the changes in which all the changes, all the actions are taking place. Yadeveha tadamutra, yadamutra tat anuiha. Whatever is there, because if you say whatever is here, it is there, it will not be a complete identity. He is saying that whatever is there and that is here also. So that you don't, complete identity is A equal to B and B equal to A also. That whatever is here, it is there. And whatever is there, there also there is nothing more to the Atma, whatever is you are finding here. So to know the Atma, whatever happens when the body falls, you have to know it here, right now. Because knowledge will depend on your personality, your buddhi. Knowledge has to dawn in your buddhi. So you cannot wait for the body to fall to know. Because the knowing faculty will not be there. Knowledge has to come now in the mind. It has to dawn in the mind. When the mind is there, before the body has fallen. But whatever you know of the Atma, that you have known that when the body has fallen, body will fall, then also it will remain the same thing. You don't have any problem in finding out what happens. So, mrityoho sa mrityum apnoti yahya naneva pashyati. Now, if you don't see this identity and if you think that the Atma is Nana, my Atma will go there, her Atma will go there, his Atma will go pass through this, that and all. That is the Nanatva vision. If you find that your Atma is different from the other's Atma, then you have to go from Mrityu to Mrityu. You understand? Mrityu to Mrityu means changefulness. It will die. Somebody will die around, he will die, or any change taking place. Why it is happening? Because of the bhoga pravritti. That we want that Atma should still have the bhoga somewhere. So what happens after that? This world is not there. Where is the Atma going? Is there any enjoyment? Is there any greater enjoyment or lesser enjoyment? Is there any punishment? That means we are still thinking of the bhogas from the world. If that does not go, the desires do not go, then we will not be able to accept this oneness. We will still think that no. Shastras are saying, but Shastras are also saying that the Atma will go from here to there. It is saying, but it is saying for some other reason, for the other people, not for a seeker, not for a spiritual seeker. Mrityoho sa mrityum apnoti yahya naneva pashyati. This is very important because it is direct reply to Nachiketa's question. Yam prete vichikitsa manushya. That whatever is here, the Atma, whatever it is here, when the body falls also, no change comes to the Atma. It is there also. But if you think that the Atma is passing through different things, they are different, then he will be moving from Mrityu to Mrityu. Manasaivedamaptavyam neha nanasti kinchana mrityo sa mrityum gacchati yaiha naneva pashyati manasaivedamaptavyam neha nanasti kinchana mrityo sa mrityum gacchati yaiha naneva pashyati. This is also very important verse, oft quoted. He says that manasa eva idam aptavyam. It has to be realized by the mind and mind alone. Manasa eva, not by the body. Mind, you include the intelligence and emotion there. By the mind alone. Manasa eva idam aptavyam. It has to be apprehended by the mind. Neha nanasti kinchana. That iha In this world, there is no nanatva. There is no variation, multiplicity, plurality. It is all an appearance on the consciousness. Neha nanasti kinchana. Mrityoho sa mrityum gacchati yahya naneva pashyati. See this, ya iha naneva pashyati, they are repeating. That means the emphasis is there. We have to understand that this nanatva drishti has to be treated. Mrityoho sa mrityum gacchati. He moves from death to death if he has this bheda buddhi, differential notion. Now, manasa eva idam aptavyam. In other places you will find that na manasa manute. Manasa na manute. Kathopanishad says. Even in Kathopanishad also somewhere. No, it is not that. But in other places you will find that. Avang manaso gocharam. That it can never be attained by either words or by mind. Kathopanishad says that it cannot be meditated upon by mind. It cannot be thought by the mind. Why? Because whenever we are thinking of this truth by the mind, it becomes a concept. But at the same time, here he is saying by the mind itself you have to attain it. What does it mean? Is it not a contradiction? Apparently it is a contradiction. It means that when they are saying manasa eva aptavyam, idam aptavyam, there is a meaning in it. What is that? By mind we have to think repeatedly that it is not an object, it is this, it is that, what we have been doing throughout. And by doing it constantly, thinking about the reality of the self, thinking about the Atma, the real Atma, our real identity, the mind will undergo purification. Why? Every time am I not pointing out that it is our desire, our bhogecha, our katritva, bhoktritva, our ego, which is keeping us away from fragmented from the real identity, which is making us small, which is keeping us constricted. So by constantly meditating on, contemplating on the truth, what will happen? The mind should get relieved of its constrictions. It should get rid of the selfishness. It should get rid of all kinds of desires and constrictions. It is all the ragadvesha it is suffering from. Ragadvesha means clinging to what we like and hating what we dislike. So this constantly meditating on the reality, the mind is undergoing a process of shuddhi, purification, purificatory process. By constant purification, the mind itself becomes like the Brahman, whatever we are meditating on. Constantly interacting with the concept of the soul, the mind becomes like the soul. That Shuddha Mana, the pure mind, itself becomes the Shuddha Brahman, the Shuddha truth. That is the Aptavyam. Until the mind becomes, that is, initially the mind is looking for the truth, as it is different from it. It is looking for the Atma as a different concept and interacting with the qualities of the Atma, parameters of the Atma as different from the mind. But as it interacts with the concept of the Atma, concept of the Brahman, the mind undergoes a Shuddhi process. That mind itself starts feeling that I am that. Starts feeling means it becomes that. There the Jnana and Jnana no longer remain different. Because the mind is absorbing the jnana and becoming the jnana there. Jnana, everything is getting fused there. Are you able to understand? This is the process by which they are saying manasai vedam aptavyam. How it can be attained or apprehended by the mind. The mind becomes that. It is not an apprehension. The mind undergoes the transformation and becomes the soul or the Atma, Brahman. Next verse. Angushtamatrah Purusho
Angushtamatrah Purusho
Madhya Atmani Tishtati
Madhya Atmani Tishtati
Ishanam Bhuta Bhavyasya
Ishanam Bhuta Bhavyasya
Natato Vijugupsate
Natato Vijugupsate
Etadvai Tat
Etadvai Tat
Angushtamatrah angushtamatrah purusho
Angushtamatrah Purusho
madhya atmani tishtati
Madhya Atmani Tishtati
Ishanam bhutabhavyasya
Ishanam Bhutabhavyasya
na tato vijugupsate
Natato Vijugupsate
etad vaitat.
Edadvaitat.
He says angushtamatraha purushaha madhya atmani tishtati. Atmani madhya tishtati. That the purushaha, which is inside us, the consciousness he is speaking about, we know that consciousness to be hidden in our cavern of the heart. Madhya atmani means in the body, in the center of the body. That means in the center of the heart. He is saying angushtamatrah, that the size of a thumb. In other places it is dashangula, 10 fingers. There are statements like that. This angushtamatrah appears in various places. It means that it is not, you don't try to measure Atma with the thumb. The question is that it is a small area here where we focus initially. Now the question is, it is small, that we are considering our Atma to be small. Angushtamatrah purushaha madhya atmani tishtati. In the body, it is seated in our body. But know that angushtamatrah purusha, it is not small. It is ishanam bhutabhavyasya. Bhutabhavyasya means the past and the future. Past and the future. That means the controller of time, controller of everything. That means he is the Ishvara. He is the Hiranyagarbha. He is the ultimate truth. So, although it is small, you consider, when you come to know that small Atma which I have been thinking small like a thumb, he is the controller of the entire universe, then you become the universe. So, na tato vijugupsate. You no longer try to hide anything. This I have explained yesterday also. Vijugupsa, jugupsa, gopayutum ichcha. We lack transparency. As we become universal, the opacity goes. We become transparent. We no longer try to hide ourselves. This hiding is the other side of creating an egoistic personality, an image of our personality. Not to reveal our real self, but to create an image which we like to have about, like to project about ourselves. So naturally, he no longer tries to hide anything from anybody. There are other meaning of jugupsa. As I said, he does not want to protect himself because he is universal. When the body falls, it falls. He does not hate anybody. That meaning also can be given. When you become universal, naturally hatred goes from you. There won't be any raga, there won't be any dvesha. So it is a full freedom of the personality, a sovereignty of the personality. So when he understands that this small Atma, angushthamatram, that is the Ishanam Bhutabhavyasa, then he no longer, Jugupsa will not be there. He will no longer hide anything. Etad vaitat. O Nachiketa, you know that this is what it is. Now, why did he say Angushthamatra? It is actually a hint for meditation. I will try to explain the science behind it. Yesterday I discussed in detail the difficulty in meditating on soul or to contemplate the soul, because our Indriyas are always, yesterday and day before also, Indriyas are always outgoing. But when you start looking within, the Indriyas cannot look within. But our tendency which we have developed from birth is to look for something different from us. This we say that even in meditation for advanced sadhaks also, they are not able to attain the last goal of merger because they want to see the self as different from him. Not openly like this, but the tendency is there that I will see the self. I will see means not with the eyes, but inside. I will discover the self. So it is inherent in the concept that the self is different from me, but it is not so. Self is what I am. So until the tendency to look for something different from me goes, he will not be successful. Has it gone in fully? I have been discussing it. So this tendency to look for a second, that is the problem. So our Shastras, you had asked yesterday that how this tendency can be won over. Shastras are taking us step by step. They are saying that initially if you try, it won't happen. So they are giving you a prop. What is that? Well, you have withdrawn from looking outside. But the mind will still look for something with akara, something with a different from me, that nirakara it cannot easily think of. That is infinitude it cannot easily think of. It will try to focus on something with the akara. So you are given that, think of a lamp here or the self here like a thumb. So now you withdraw your mind from everything and focus on your heart on that thumb. So that you can easily, now you have given a prop, you have been given a prop. Just like the Murti Puja, you are given a prop whom you like, your Guru or Ramakrishna Dev or Devi or Shiva, whatever. It is a prop because we cannot focus our mind on an infinitude or when there is nothing. No akara is given. So naturally we are given whatever our mind gets attached to. But it cannot be something of the world generally, because then otherwise your son or your grandson could have been given as the focus. But then you will do all wrong things because it is again an attachment. So you are given something which you don't see. Neither of the materials you are dealing with. Something sitting in the yonder or a lamp, flame inside like that. So when you have focused the mind on that flame, it's a limited object. But then they are trying to make that, in the next verse they will do to make the flame as adhumaka, a pure flame. A pure flame which is not emitting any smoke or soot or anything. And a steady flame. The other day says, Yatha dipo nivatastho nengate sopama smrita yogino yatachittasya yunjato yogamatmanaha. That Yatha dipo nivatastho, that when there is no wind, deepa. But they are hearing about it, you may think of that the flame is outside. But actually yogamatmanaha, so it is not outside, it is inside only. So the flame, the Atma is of a size of the thumb. That is a flame which is not oscillating in anything. The moment your thought goes here and there, it will oscillate. So the flame not to oscillate, you have to become free of all other thoughts, all other distractions. Otherwise it will not be nivatastha. The vata means the wind. What is the wind in the mind? All the attractions, repulsions, raga, dvesha, the mind is taken away by that wind only. That wind is oscillating the flame. So here nivatastha, there is no wind means there is no thought to distracting thought. So naturally you will focus on a steady, still flame. Now what happens? It is radiating. Here comes the main thing. It's a silent radiation. Is it not? There is no sound, no thought, nothing, but it still is revealing everything. It is radiating. That is very much akin to the soul. That the whole inside will radiate. It will be full of a radiation. Still radiation. There won't be any movement, anything at all. Now, once it has happened, then you slowly remove all the impurity from there. Adhumakaha. That it is a flame which is not oscillating and it is not emitting any smoke at all. So when you concentrate on a flame like that, your mind also will become pure. So the purity will dawn. Then they will expand from there. It is not a limited flame, but it is infinite. So we are using the sasima. Sasima means a limited thing to take our mind finally to asimatva, to unlimited infinitude. Without that, we will not be able to be successful. That is why they are saying that first you take away from all the multiplicity you are suffering. The whole sadhana, spiritual sadhana, is to take the mind from diversity, multiplicity to one-pointedness. When the one-pointedness is attained, then that one can be removed. If you leave it, then it will be left to itself, or you expand it to infinitude and then leave the infinitude also, it will remain to itself. There is a technique involved in the whole process. If we follow the technique, then it will become easier. That is why they are saying. In Bhagavatam also it is there. First, you focus on the smile of Vishnu, on the face of Vishnu, moon-like face of Vishnu. When you focus on the moon-like face of Vishnu, what will happen to your face? It will become moon-like. Because when you are in your mind contemplating on a face which does not have any impurity, you will find that you keep a camera, go on taking the photograph when you are meditating, you will find the face changing and becoming moon-like. If the meditation is proper. Even in Vishnu Sahasranama Dhyana, the first sloka says, Shuklambaradharam Vishnu. Why white dress? Because our mind is full of all gaudy colors and all. When you think of the white dress, it is one. The mind is becoming from multiplicity to oneness. You are not looking for different colors anymore. Shuklambaradharam Vishnu, Shashivarnam, moon-like face. The moment you think of it, your mind will become placid. Then, Prasannavadanam Dhyayet. If you dhyana, meditate on a Prasannavadana, what will happen to your Vadana? It will become Prasanna. You think of anybody with a Prasannavadana, you will become Prasanna. Will you not? Sarva Vignopashantai. All the difficulties will go. Difficulties may not go outside. But from your mind, all the difficulties you have hosted, they will go. The moment your mind becomes placid or prasanna, no difficulty will be there in the mind. And such a mind will be able to deal with the outer difficulties also in a much better manner than a complicated mind, than a cluttered mind or a disturbed mind. See, everywhere the truth is encapsulated. People go on chanting without thinking, without... If you think about it, it is so good. Immediate. So before you start the chanting, your mind is becoming infinite. It is getting rid of all constrictions. That is why we chant the Shanti mantras before the study, so that the mind gets a relief there. So this angushtamatrah Purusha, angushtamatrah Purusho,
angushtamatrah Purusho,
madhya atmani tishtati,
madhya atmani tishtati,
Ishanam bhuta bhavyasya,
Ishanam bhuta bhavyasya,
na tato vijugupsate,
na tato vijugupsate,
etadvai tat.
etadvai tad.
Next. Angushtamatrah Purusho,
Angushtamatrah Purusho,
Jyotiriva dhumakaha,
Jyotiriva dhumakaha,
Ishano bhuta bhavyasya,
Ishano bhuta bhavyasya,
sa evadya sausvaha,
sa evadya saushvaha,
Angushtamatrah Purusho,
Angushtamatrah Purusho,
Jyotiriva dhumakaha,
Jyotiriva dhumakaha,
Ishano bhuta bhavyasya,
Ishano bhuta bhavyasya,
sa evadya saushvaha,
sa evadya saushvaha,
etadvai tat.
etadvai tad.
See, here he is saying Angushtamatrah Purushaha Jyotihi iva adhumakaha. It has a brilliance, Jyotihi, just like the flame, it has the brilliance, but adhumakaha Jyotihi. There is no impurity, there is no smoke at all. Smokeless radiance, as we were just now discussing. Ishano bhutabhavyasa. He is the controller of the past and the future. That is the entire world. He is the controller of everything. That means he transcends time, space, matter, everything. Sa eva adya sa u shvaha. Shvah means tomorrow, adya means today. Whatever here, it means beyond time again, but he has already said bhutavabhyasya. So sa eva adya sa u shvaha. Tomorrow means actually when the body is there and when the body falls. That way also we can think of, because they have repeated it. Bhutavabhyasya Ishanam means he is the controller of time. He is timeless. He is beyond time. Then again, why are they saying that he is here, whatever he is now, he is tomorrow also. That means exactly that ihamutra, whatever yadeveha tadamutra, like that. Whatever it is, whether the time passes or the body falls or the body is there, it is not affected by anything at all. So in the earlier verse, he has said that it is in our personality like a size of a thumb. This much was said, and said that after that you have to expand it to the infinitude level, to the infinite level, because he is the controller of the entire universe. Here he is saying again, think of that as the thumb, like the thumb. But he is now adding some qualities to the thumb, that it is adhumakaha jyotihi iva. It is a smokeless flame. Consider that. By that, what will happen? The mind will think of the radiance. Previously, it was only size. You will start thinking of a finger only. That will not be. It is a radiance which is radiating without any sound, without any oscillation. Then, after you have focused on that, expand it to the infinite level. Ishano bhutavabhyasya. Saevadya saushvaha. Whatever is there here today. And this is what, Nachiketa, you have wanted to know, that what remains. This is the Atma which remains after the body falls. Not only that, it is the same when the body is there also. It is not different. Then he concludes by 2 verses. Yathodakam durge vrishtam
यथोदकं दुर्गे वृष्टं
parvateshu vidhavati
पर्वतेषु विधावति
evam dharman prithak pashyan
एवं धर्मान् पृथक् पश्यन्
tanevanu vidhavati
तानेवानुविधावति
yathodakam durge vrishtam
यथोदकं दुर्गे वृष्टं
parvateshu vidhavati
पर्वतेषु विधावति
evam dharman prithak pashyan
एवं धर्मान् पृथक् पश्यन्
tanevanu vidhavati
तानेवानुविधावति
yathodakam shuddhe shuddham
यतोदकं शुद्धे शुद्धं
asiktam tadrigeva bhavati
आसिक्तं तादृगेव भवति
evam muner vijanata
एवं मुनेर्विजानत
atma bhavati gautama.
आत्मा भवति गौतम.
It's beautiful, poetic end. He's saying yatha udakam. Udakam means water, pani. Yatha udakam durge vrishtam. Durge means in inaccessible heights, hilly regions, where it is not connected to the other side. Inaccessible hilly areas. Parvateshu vidhavati evam dharman prithak pashyan tan eva anuvidhavati. Tan eva anuvidhavati. This dharman, actually dharma has come from dharayati, from dhru dhatu. Dharana dharma iti prahuhu. Dharmo dharayati prajaha. Dharma eva hatohanti dharmo rakshati rakshitaha. That dharma is the sustainer, the law of sustenance of the universe. There's a fundamental rhythm in the universe which sustains the universe, sustains nature, sustains our life. So is it not the same as the Atma? The fundamental harmony is the Atma, on which the whole universe is appearing to be. So here they have used this word dharma for the Atma. It can be used for Brahman, it can be used for the fundamental harmony of nature, which itself is the consciousness. That is why we say dharma eva hatohanti dharmo rakshati rakshitaha. If you protect dharma, then dharma will protect you. If you kill dharma, then dharma will kill you. If you abide by the fundamental harmony, then that harmony, you will be sustained by that harmony. Now, the dharma is non-differential. Abheda is the dharma. Abheda is the dharma. Now, what is the, if you protect it, means you go by that abhedata, abheda jnana. But if you introduce the bheda jnana there, that means you are flouting the dharma, the fundamental law of nature. Do you get me? If you are trying to always think that no, I am not limited, I am not small, the real I is universal, everybody is within me, I am in everybody, there is no selfishness at all. You constantly think of that Atma as the universal transcendental Atma. Then you are following the dharma. If you are thinking of the body limited, changeful Atma, transmigratory Atma, then you are flouting that fundamental dharma, the basic law of sustenance of the world. So in that case, you will go from mrityu to mrityu. You will be killed by the dharma. In the other case, you will be protected by the dharma. You will become the dharma. You will become infinite. Do you get my point? How beautifully they have put it. With an example, he is saying, Yatha udakam durge vrishtam parvateshu vidhavati. The rain which is coming down in the inaccessible region, hilly regions, where it is, they are flowing down the different gorges, the rainwater, whatever gorges it is finding, it is flowing down there. Another portion it is going down, another portion it is going down, like this. But they are not able to get connected to the valley, the plains beyond the hilly region. So they will never go to the sea. They are getting lost in the wilderness. Do you get the poetic? Okay. They are falling from the same sky where it is uniform. They have come from the ocean where it is uniform. They don't have any identity. So even when they are raining also, they don't have a separate identity. They are falling everywhere. But after the rain falls, it is taking up an identity. I belong to this gorge. I belong to that gorge. He belongs to this gorge. All the differential notions come in. They forget their real identity, that oneness, the unity. It's beautiful. So they get lost in the process. The mrityo samrityum apnoti yahyavananeva pashyati. They get lost there. They never meet their real identity, the oneness of the sea. Whereas those who are coming down towards the valley, towards the plains and flowing down, they meet the sea, their own origin, where they lose their individual identity separately. They become the sea identity. All of them become the sea identity. So if they're saying that they are aware of the river is aware of its goal, that it has come from the sea and it has to go and meet the sea. This awareness with which it is running down the gravity, running down always, that I have to meet the sea. You take my water, you drink, you do whatever you like, you utilize, but I will run. I will not stop for you. If seeing a beautiful scenery and all, like Ashi is going to Manas Sarovar, it will become a Sarovar, it will not meet the sea. So, beautiful scene, the river says that, oh, here it is very nice, I will stay here, I will not go further. No, but it is aware of its final goal. I have to meet the sea, from there I have come. So, it simply runs by its natural flow. That is why it is so beautiful. It is not running out of desire. It is running by the aspiration for meeting the sea. This aspiration becomes the main force of work for a person who has got over his desires. Desires should not be the motivation. Aspiration should be the motivation. Aspiration to be in tune with infinitude. Be in tune with the fundamental law of sustenance. So this aspiration takes the river down to the sea and he gets identified with the sea. Again comes up as the vapor and again comes back with the river. In the process, it serves so many places. It serves the plantation, it serves the human beings, it serves the animals. Everything happens. And being selfish, human beings put a bar on it, on its aspiration and make power out of it. Prem ji to wahi karne ke liye gaye hain abhi. Stop the aspiration of the river and extract some power and sell it and make some money. क्या करेंगे? यही तो है हमारे दुनियादारी. So he says that Yathodakam durge vrishtam parvateshu vidhavati evam dharman prithak pashyan. Those who see this dharma, the atma to be different, selfish. Taneva anuvidhavati. They go according to their own vision, their small vision, and get lost in the process, in the wilderness. Yathodakam shuddhe shuddham asiktam tadrigeva bhavati. As the yatha shuddham udakam shuddhe asiktam shuddhe udake asiktam shuddham udakam shuddhe udake asiktam tadrigeva bhavati. Suppose pure water. You have in a vessel some pure water, and there is a pure water lake. You are pouring that water in that from the vessel to the lake. What happens? You cannot distinguish it anywhere at all. It simply merges in the whole water. It becomes the lake. The small vessel water becomes the lake. There is no separate identity at all. Yathodakam shuddhe shuddham asiktam tadrigeva bhavati evam muner vijanata atma bhavati Gautama. O Gautama, O Nachiketa, vijanataha munehe atma. Vijanataha munehe atma. Shashti vibhakti. That a knower, muni, a thoughtful person who has become a knower, vijanataha munehe atma, his atma, evam bhavati. This is the state of his atma, that he no longer thinks that I am small, I am angushtamatrah, but I am ishanam ishanaha bhutavabhyasya. I am the universal atma, the one real identity. In Mundakopanishad, it is in, I think, 3.2.8 of Mundakopanishad. This you know, it is our Arati mantra. Our Arati mantras are beautiful. Yatha nadyasyanamana samudre astam gachanti namarupe vihaya tatha vidvan namarupad vimuktaha parat param purushamupaiti divyam. He says, Yatha nadyasyanamana samudre astam gachanti namarupe vihaya tatha vidvan namarupad vimuktaha parat param purushamupaiti divyam. As all the flowing rivers from all sides, sanyamanaha astam samudre astam gachanti namarupe vihaya. When they meet the river, they merge, they are losing their nama rupa, their separate identity consisting of a name and the akara. Is it Ganga? Is it Jamuna? Is it Brahmaputra? It is a filthy nala, Hindan canal, Hindan nala, or anything, effluence from the waste. It doesn't matter at all. All are going to the sea. The sea is treating them with the salt water. Everything is becoming pure and getting the identity of the sea. They lose their namarupa. Astam gachanti namarupe vihaya. Abandoning their namarupa, they get merged in the sea. Tatha vidvan namarupad vimuktaha. A knower, leaving his nama and rupa, namarupad vimuktaha, parat param purushamupaiti divyam. That divya param purusha, parat para purusha, they merge in him. The same, exactly the same meaning. They merge in that. In Bhagavad Gita 2.70, I think 70th verse, it is the other, that here this merger, it is a merger within, almost a meditational merger you can say. But when it becomes interactional, suppose this is what? Yathodakam shuddha shuddham means when your mind gets purer and purer, it merges into the pure soul. It becomes the pure Brahman. When he interacts with the world, what happens? That comes in Bhagavad Gita 2nd chapter. Because Arjuna wanted to know, you have told me the soul and Brahman and all that, but that has to be realized by a human being, is it not? So I am more interested in knowing what happens to the man when he realizes this truth. Arjuna was intelligent. I want to know what happens to the man when he realizes the truth. Not only that, he wanted to know what happens to him when he is sitting in samadhi and what happens to him when he is active. So that Krishna is concluding with these verses. There it comes that Apuryamanam achala pratishtham samudramapah pravishanti yadvad tadvat kamahyam pravishanti sarve sashantimapnoti na kamakami. He remains like the sea. Apuryamanam achala pratishtham. Achala pratishtham means never gets destabilized. It is not overflowing by the inflow. It is not getting dried also. It remains always full and poised with its water. Apuryamanam, constantly water is flowing. And constantly evaporation also is taking place. Suppose the sea becomes selfish and says, no, I will not leave my water. Surya ko bhaga do. Hum pani nahi denge humse. Kya hoga? It will overflow. It will destroy the earth. Water will go on rising. So it is accepting whatever comes and it is leaving whatever goes in a natural manner. Sahaja, svabhava. This is what we mean by kriya. It is a sahaja pravritti. He is accepting whatever is coming to him and he is leaving whatever is going away. Apuryamanam achala pratishtham samudram apaha pravishanti yadvat. As the water is getting in. Tadvat kamahayam pravishanti sa shantim apnoti. We are always running after kamas, running after desireful things to become happy. By getting this, I will become happy. By getting that, I will become happy. Once I attain this, once I attain self-realization, I will become happy. That is also a kama, which has to be dropped finally. So everywhere we are looking for kama. That means we are running behind the kamas. He says, no, he will never get shanti. Na kama kami. A kama kami means who is a desireful person. He is looking to fulfill his desires. He will never get satisfied. But in this case, what is happening? Kamahayam pravishanti sarve. Sa shanti mapnoti. He allows everything to come. Everything to enter to him. Because he is not attracted to anything. Kama of all the kinds it comes. Some are good and some are suffering also. Both. Bhoga means Sukha Bhoga and Dukkha Bhoga also. Both he accepts. In Dukkha also he is blessed. In Sukha also he is blessed. He accepts everything that comes within it. And he owns up them. They get filtered in him. They get absorbed in him. That is the Shanti he gets. The people who run after small things, they never get it. That is the interactional part of it, that he interacts with the world, accepting everything and whatever comes and leaving everything, whatever goes. In Ravindra Sangit it is that whatever has come to me has brought, O Lord, you to me. And whatever has gone away from me, they have taken me to you. Whatever has come from outside to me, they have brought not the kamas, but you, O Lord, to me. And whatever has gone away from me, I have not lost them, because they have taken me to you. By going also, they have taken me to you. Shavare aminomi, I prostrate before everything. Jekeho more diyechu shukho, diyechu tari porichaya. Jekeho more diyechu dukho, diyechu tari porichaya. Those who have given me sukha, through that sukha, they have given me, O Lord, your touch. Those who have given me suffering, through that suffering also, they have given, O Lord, your touch. So I prostrate before everybody. We will chant the Shanti Mantra. Om Sahana Vavatu.
Om Sahana Vavatu.
Sahanau Bhunaktu.
Sahanau Bhunaktu.
सह वीर्यं करवावहै
सह वीर्यं करवावहै
तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु
तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु
मा विद्विषावहै
मा विद्विषावहै
ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः
ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः
ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः
ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः
हरि ओम तत्सत्।